Hey guys, right. Well, I don't know if Alexa got the name of the missing soldier right or not yet. I'm still, as you can see.
I'm not sure.
There she goes. She's off and not sure. It's funny that, isn't it? Anyway, you're currently video on an iPad. I've never done this before, so I'm going to turn you around. Hang on. You make it a bit more vertical. I'm going to turn you around so I should come into view in a minute when I've shuffled down the bed and go around the far corner. You may well get knocked over during this, so bear that in mind. If you suddenly see the ceiling, it's because I've bumped into you rather than gone past you, alright? By you, I mean you, the iPad, obviously. Alright, oh, I don't have to talk a lot of rot, don't I? Anyway, assuming it's working, here we go. That's been too bright, I apologise. So, this is me. Aha, that was my anthem. The song This Is Me. That was my anthem years ago when I no, that's a bit too personal actually. And I need to be careful what I say because I've been people, mainly family, who I think are worried that I'm going to say something inappropriate because of my brain injury. I've been counselling me on keeping my videos about stuff to do with my recovery from the stroke, which of course isn't really a recovery yet, but it's on the mend. I'm on the mend, but just it takes a very long time to recover from a brain injury, especially when you've been abandoned for 3 years by the NHS. I didn't get a physio session for 3 years. I got about half a dozen sessions when I first came out of hospital back in 2020, and then I had to fight to get another one in March this year. And I fought and finally got one. And now we name check Holly. I won't say your second name, don't worry. Holly is finally helping me, and we're getting a few things sorted out. But the first thing I've got to sort out is this blinking carpal tunnel, because at the moment, as you know, I can hardly hold my phone, let alone I nearly dropped a glass of ginger beer yesterday when we had pizza night at my house because my eldest couldn't make it on Monday night to come and measure up for the redesign of the mug holder so that hopefully it'll help the carpal tunnel. And he couldn't come because it just didn't work out in the end because, like I said, he helped us out at Scouts around here on a Monday night, and it was going to be late because it was the last one in the year, so they were going for a drink. I bet they didn't have ginger beer. Or if they did, it wouldn't have been the alcohol-free stuff like I have. I'm not I don't do the drinking thing really. I have one glass of medicinal red wine every day, following the Tim Spector podcast report that there's been a double-blind gold standard double-blind medical trial that proved that a small glass of red wine, by that I mean 125 millilitres of red wine a day, with a meal, you have to eat it you have to drink it with a meal, otherwise it doesn't work, it doesn't give you the same benefit, will protect you and reduce your chances of having a heart attack or a stroke. Now I wish I'd done that then before February 2020 when I ended up on the floor in the car park in Whitchurch at a tea dance. Anyway, maybe we'll come back to that. It is quite a story, okay, I will come back to that. And to the members of the family who were obviously panicking about me saying stuff I shouldn't, I'm not going to name you anyway, obviously. But yes, I will say more and more about what happened and what I've done to ameliorate the situation. Anyway, you'll see. I'm going to now put some shoes on because it's I just find it easier to grip the floor with shoes on. And when I'm moving myself around in my manual wheelchair, I use the one good hand for the one wheel. I can't move the other wheel, of course. This is the other one. It just doesn't do an awful lot at the moment. Yeah, as you can see. So I'm going to reach over here. So another life hack: if you're in a situation like me and you could only use one arm properly at the moment, get some of these things. These are grabber things. They're like litter pickers. Hang on, if I put it over there, can you see? Look, see that? And you can reach across, and in this case, I can reach across and get a shoe. Now, my ex will attest that I love a pair of shoes. In fact, oh, hang on, let me find the shoe on. Oh, I've got a new shoe on. I couldn't find my oh, hang on, rubber stick. Couldn't. I've struggled. I've got a new pair of boots. So anyway, I'm jumping again. Oh, sorry guys. Grab a stick. There we go. Shoe on. Oh, dropped on the floor. I found them on the floor. Anyway, put in the get the shoe on with the shoe on. There we go. Yeah, shoes I was saying. My ex. I don't know whether, I can't remember whether it's true or not, but I certainly say it. She used to one of my, or at least I can say is that one of my nicknames could have been Imelda. The reason for that being that, well, can anybody guess if I'm talking about shoes, why might my nickname have been Imelda? And I got one on. Oh no, I got both on. Sorry. Now another life hack in this situation: Velcro. Brilliant. When my kids were young, before they could tie up shoelaces, Velcro fasteners for their shoes, really quick and easy, and they could do it. Well, now I'm back. I think I've said this before on this channel. It's a bit like being a toddler again, being in this situation when you've got people doing stuff for you. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I am actually very happy at the moment. I have got so many positive things, good things in my life. I don't know if you'll mind me saying it, but Tracy used to take me to the choir that I used to sing in around here before I had my stroke, and so she came along after we got together. We met dancing before I had the stroke, at the same place that I took my wife to learn to dance at the time to try and save our marriage. We all know that didn't actually work, but never mind. Some things are not meant to be. And oh yes, that's right. This is me. Yeah. So "This Is Me" was my anthem for my It was the thing that sort of told me, it's time to be yourself again, Alistair, and just be you and not hang the consequences, because that's not fair. But I could be me again, and do you know what? I am being me now. This is me, and it's been this way for a while. I don't do it at the cost of anybody else. Obviously, always be kind. If you can be kind, always be kind. Not if you can, always be kind. Be as considerate as you can. Be as helpful as you can. That's always been my my way, I think. Anyway, sometimes I've said things that have been unkind, unintentionally. I say unintentionally because I was a terror for walking around with my foot in my mouth, having said the wrong thing, and that was before I had a brain injury. So I have to be really careful now. So I apologise in advance, YouTube community, if something slips out inappropriately. I think I've managed to keep it clean so far, folks. So it's a family-friendly show, and I intend it to be. Although I wish I'd had this camera on. There's a lady that lives here, which she won't mind me. I did ask her actually if she'd like to be on YouTube, and she didn't know what it was. So I'll have to explain it to her sometime. But Nige, who you all know, I was outside measuring the temperature outside to see whether or not it's worth me, because I haven't got my inside outside thermometer working yet, to make sure whether stop bubbling, Alistair. As you all I'm sure know, but life hack, whatever number this is, if you are in a place where it's warm, and at the moment it's going to be extremely warm in Europe, cool down your house at night when it's cold outside by opening windows, let the hot air out of your house. Especially relevant if you've got a loft room, like I created in my old house nearby where I live now. Actually, it's not far from where I live now. And my best mate Rod, who's getting a name check today. Hi Rod, how you doing, buddy? His home office is in the roof, and I know he gets extremely hot. So remember what I told you, life hack, Rod. Late at night, before you go to bed, because I know you tend to work through, because you talk to your colleagues in the States, don't you, at night? I think I'm right in saying that's right. If I got that the right way around, I think so. So when you're in the home office late at night, you finish talking to your colleagues in California, open the windows wide, and then go downstairs and open a back door or a front door. And what you'll find is the house will act like a chimney, and the heat, the lighter, less dense hot air at the top will fly out of the windows upstairs, dragging the cold air in through the front door downstairs. Obviously, don't leave it open all night. You never know who's around. Hopefully you live, my Rod lives in a nice place anyway, but always be mindful of your security, folks, of course. But yes, open the windows in the top part of your building and the doors or the windows downstairs, and you'll find you'll get this lovely funnel of cold air through the building, cooling it down. You can then let that go on for a little while until you're content that most of the hot air's gone, or you've got a nice cool average temperature throughout the building. Or if you want to let it get even colder, of course, take the heat out of the building, because the actual bricks and mortar of a building will hold the heat, you see. Like a good old-fashioned, what was called night storage heaters. We used to have those in Cranwell's Park. Anyway, that doesn't matter that you know the name, but that's just a name for a road in a town or a city. Anyway, yeah, night storage heaters work by heating up concrete blocks at night. In the UK, we have something called Economy 7 electricity. So when electrical demand is low at night, the electricity companies charge less per kilowatt hour, because that's what electricity is measured in. They charge less per kilowatt hour at night because not so many people use it. And so the idea was you use this cheap electricity to heat up these concrete blocks at night. And in the day, they would exude their heat. That's a good word, isn't it? Exude their heat back into the building to keep you warm. The difficulty being, you didn't know how cold it was going to be the next day in those days, because the weather forecasting wasn't as good. We didn't have our apps on our phones like we do now, telling us roughly what the weather's going to be, even accurately what the weather's going to be. And I do find it relatively accurate. Well done, Met Office in the UK. So predicting what it was going to be the next day was difficult. So sometimes, if you got it wrong, your house was too hot the next day, and other times you didn't get it right and it wasn't hot enough. Now, of course, we've got this wonderful thing called central heating. I say wonderful thing. We'll go into that one day about the design. I won't go into it too deeply, but suffice it to say that where I live in this shoebox in this facility, where I'm an inmate, they upgrade. Oh no, I have mentioned that, haven't I? They upgraded from underfloor heating, which is true. It's fair enough. It's not fantastic for speed of response, because it does, like the night storage heaters, take a long time to warm up, and once it's warmed up, it takes a long time to cool down again. So it's a very slow means of keeping an even temperature in a space. So the water-filled radiators that they've got are a good solution, just not the way they chose to control them in terms of the noise they make. And the lady I was talking to yesterday agreed with me on this, and so did most of the. I think they would all agree that they're noisier than the underfloor heating, because underfloor heating is silent, of course. And they could have made the radiator option silent as well, if only they'd put the control valves for them in the airing cupboard out of the way. But they use the TRVs. Trust this doesn't come back to bite me, because I did mention this at the meeting when they proposed the change. I said, you realise that's going to be noisy, don't you, in the bedrooms? And they said, no, it's not. And I said, give me that in writing then. So I got it in writing that it wasn't going to be noisy. And of course, guess what? I don't like to say I told you so, guys, but it was noisy, because I knew it would be. Anyway, ever since I put in a TRV in my bedroom and it made a noise, I vowed after that to always put a zone valve under the bedroom floor. If I ever refurbished and changed the heating system, put a zone valve under the floor, or at least out of the way, connected to the thermostat in the bedroom, and then because the zone valves don't make any noise, well, nowhere near as much noise as a CRV anyway. And in that particular bedroom, I didn't get a chance to refurbish it. I didn't need to. I knew what it would be like. Anyway, that aside now, doesn't matter. So what am I doing? Oh yes, I've got my shoes on. What was I flipping at? What was I doing? Anyway, Alexa, date.
It's Wednesday, the 19th of July.
There you go. That's where we are. And it's stupid o'clock in the morning. Sorry, Tracy. Yeah, I think I've mentioned that Tracy and I have been going down to visit my folks, because my mum was. I'm sorry to say she was in hospital with. Sorry, Mum, if I'm not supposed to tell anybody, but there we go. Look, everybody who needs to probably knows by now. She had heart failure, and I didn't realise that lots of people live with heart failure. It's just relative. It's a relative term, but she's back home now. So we were visiting the weekend just after she went in, It's a few weeks later now, and she's out, and she came out earlier than expected the last weekend when we visited again, and we were pleasantly surprised to hear her arriving home when Tracy and I were waiting in my folks' house. Expecting her possibly to come out the next day, which came out a day early. Now she's a tough old bird, my mum. So I'm glad to say she's taught me resilience and humour, and we were watching some home movies last night. Like I said, my eldest has recently had a daughter, so I'm now Grandpa Ali, as well as No Worries Ninja Ali, and I remembered that I had a memory stick plugged into the back of the telly with the old, the analog videos that my ex put onto a memory stick for me from the camera that my late father-in-law and mother-in-law bought us when they found out that they were going to be grandparents, with the grandparents first time around with our oldest Joe. And so we were looking last night at videos of granddaughter's father when he was just a little bit older than her, and we're all having a good smile. It was really lovely, actually. It was very, 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 very lovely evening, because my youngest came round as well, and always lovely to see him. His girlfriend couldn't come round, unfortunately. I won't name her on here yet, because I haven't had a chance to ask her if I can. And but I'm trusting she'll come along soon and join in more. We've met and we talk, but they've been together a long time. But I hope she doesn't mind me saying she's a little bit shy, and she doesn't need to be around us, of course. But that's just a life lesson that you need to learn in life. So yeah, so we had a really, really, really special evening last night, because Joe was coming. Oh, my eldest was coming around. Sorry, mate. Was coming around to measure up for my version 2 of the armrest for my version 2 of the 3D printed armrest for my electric wheelchair, to include an upstand for me to hold on to with my left arm. I don't know if you can you see that? You see that? That's me. To get that to move, do you see that squeeze? I've got my thumb here. If I put my thumb up inside my hand, and if I really, really try, see if you can see it. Ready? Can you see that move? I can't actually straighten the fingers of that hand yet. My PA Steph that I share with another guy, she explained that he's been bought a glove that actually is a motorised robot glove that is teaching he's got similar issues. I can't remember how. I can't tell you too much anyway, but I can't remember. I don't know his full name anyway. But is it Nick? Steph? Can I say Nick? Anyway, get him to watch this, Steph, and I will get that information to you that I promised for him, because he's struggling a bit, I think. Anyway, he's got one of these gloves, and I've sent a picture of it to this lovely physio, Holly, who's been finally somebody's taken an interest. Bless her. She has to. When I think I mentioned that I've managed to wean myself off the mood enhancers, which obviously helps with, funny enough, mood. But I've never had a problem with crying tears of joy, right? I've never had a problem crying tears of joy. And bless her, when I think it might have been even the first session, when I rocked up there after, like I say, 3 years of being abandoned, it was a rather emotional time, you know? Having been finally given a few sessions of physio. I did manage to swing a few sessions of hydro. Now then. Oh dear. That was Bronwyn, wasn't it? Yeah, Bronwyn. Hi, Bronwyn. I don't know how I get the message to her that she's on YouTube, or she's had a name check on YouTube. But that was down in the hydro pool down in Bath, and like I say, after 3 years, I managed to break the rules and get not break the rules, but I managed to get some hydro sessions. And that is such an amazing experience. If I had just one of those a month for the last 3 years, I reckon I'd have been back on my feet by now. Anyway, that's a minor detail. Anyway, so like I say, I've got finally after kicking and punching for, well, probably after 2.5 years, I've had enough of not having any input, or at least no input from what is actually one of the best healthcare systems in the world, the NHS here in the UK, when they're given the opportunity. Well, they saved my life, so we have to give them that due, don't we? When they gave me the craniectomy. Look it up on YouTube. If you look it up on here, so a craniectomy. I did ask them to video the cranioplasty, but they wouldn't do it. They did say they took photographs, but I never managed to get hold of them. So if you're watching this and you've got access to the photographs of Alistair... Oh, God. Well, you know who I am, don't you? Alistair Slade's craniectomy in July 2020, I suppose it was. Then please, it was... Oh, I can't remember the consultant's name, Mr... Oh gosh, no, it's not there. But I will look it up. I will endeavour to find that name out. And in fact, here we go. Let's do the right thing. Life hack. On the phone, on the notes function, search for to do. Find the to do list. Add to the bulleted to do list. With dictation, because it's easier than typing and exacerbating your carpal tunnel syndrome. Wait for it. Find the name of the consultant who stuck my head back together and ask for the photos. And there you go. That actually worked that time. Sometimes it comes up with some really stupid things. As people who receive my messages on WhatsApp, etc., will attest. They get some really, certainly Tracy will. I think she gets a bit frustrated with the fact that I don't, or sometimes if I'm feeling knackered, I don't reread them as carefully as I should before sending them. And obviously that's another, not life hack, but another important thing to do. Life coaches don't give advice, by the way, in case you didn't know that. Life coaches do not give advice. They enable people to come to their own conclusions about what's good and what they need to do, or what would be beneficial, not what they need to do, because what they need to do is up to them, of course. What they feel they need to do, a bit like choosing how you feel. I do need to do that story again. Right, hold on then, because I think I've got a videos one here, and I'll put that down as the subject. Right, hold on, searching for videos. Where are we? Channel videos, there it is, right. So, what was it? Now we've got the problem. See, you have to be really quick and get back. I should have it sitting on this ready, shouldn't I? So it was a video about, bosh it. What was it? Come on, guys, put in the comments. What was I talking about? Sorry, I've got a bit of a runny nose. Alexa, what's the bedroom temperature?
The bedroom temperature is 19.4 degrees.
I don't know if you can see that red light over there is one of those little coolers I was telling you about. It's not an air conditioning unit. Oh, there you go. I knew that was going to happen eventually. It's an air cooler. Oh, sorry. Got the light in view, haven't we, which makes everything go funny. See if we can get the exposure right. Yeah, it's an air cooler. It works by the evaporative effect of water. Oh, you saw me putting the ice in, didn't you? Yeah, and that was the one I did put the ice in. By the way, I did find out where I put the ice in. I could see the little remnants in the water floating. Artifacts, I would call them. A bit like in a dodgy video like we were getting last night, the home videos that got corrupted on the memory stick. So I need to get a new memory stick delivered to my ex's house because we're still friends, which I'm really, really grateful for. I know Tracy struggles with that a bit because it's not her experience. I think I mentioned that before. But it's great to be friends with your ex, especially for the sake of your kids. So, anyway, all that aside, I still didn't remember what the video was about, did I? Oh, bosh it. That's so frustrating. I can't hold the phone again. It's going to go. It's going to drop. It's going to drop on the floor. Guys at the hospital, please watch this and get me booked in so I can have my wrist sorted, please. What was it? What was I talking about? Oh, I joke, not inconsequentially, that the the damage that my brain sustained because of this. Well, in the end, they reckon it was from a bit of plaque in the arteries of my neck that nobody knew about until it was too late. So, but what I would say to you is this: if you ever have something funny going in your eyes, so if your vision goes funny, go to the doctor and check that it's not what's called a TIA. I can't remember what it stands for. Trans ischemic attack or something like that. Oh, did I remember? Probably not accurately enough. Anyway, it's TIA, a mini stroke basically. And if you get anything strange happening in your eyes, go to see the doctor and say, just to let you know, I had a strange thing happen to my eyes, because after the fact, of course, I mentioned this to some friends of mine, and one of my best friends. Can I name you Chris? Do you mind? Well, too late now. I've done it. Chris, no, nobody knows him. Nobody knows. There's loads of Chris's in the world. You don't know his second name. And anyway, he had an effect. Something happened in his eyes, and he went to the doctors, and they found a similar thing in his neck. So maybe if I'd had that experience, I could have and gone to the doctors. I could have not had this situation. But like I said, please don't get me wrong. I am not unhappy right now. Well, I'm certainly not worried, because I'm only the no worries ninja, right? Yes, you don't. There is no benefit in worrying. The only thing it will do is put you in an early grave. And everybody says yes when I say that. Of course, you're right. Yes. Well, we know that. But people still do it. But they don't have to anymore, because I've created the process. And all they need to do is do that process against their worries, and they can banish them forever. And sometime in the nearest future, guys, I'm going to get this website up and running, which is going to let me give this process away, sort of free, not quite free, because I need to generate a bit of income to create the next website. So this is the feedback website, which is where people get to take the test for free, or for almost for free, on the grounds that they will give me feedback. So if it is possible to improve it, I can. And once I do, and it is the best it can be, I can then offer it to people to, as something that I've produced, my own creation, this process. And people will be able to pay to take the test to banish worry from their lives. It won't be very expensive, because I want it to be as accessible as possible to as many people as possible. And therefore, I trust that I will be able to help millions of people live longer, happy lives, because my purpose is to create a happy, peaceful, joyous, abundant life for everyone whose life I touch. Got that? What was it? Oh no, you don't need to repeat it, because guess what? I found it. It was in here. Oh, well, that's what I was saying. The damage to my brain from this clot was about the. It looked to me on the scans that I've seen on. Admittedly, I've only seen them on a TV, a monitor. It looked to me to be about the size of a walnut. Now that doesn't sound very much, but in terms of percentage size of a human brain, that seems relatively large to me. Maybe somebody could work that out. Can somebody work that out and put it in the comments? What is the relative percentage size between a walnut and an average human brain? I'd say average. Mine's not average, but it could be average in size. But whether it's average in capability or not, of course, is another matter. But we won't go into that now. Maybe that will come out as part of the life history that I am going to continue to put out there, to let you know how I got to where I am, which includes the bit about surviving the stroke and surviving the negative impact it can have on you. So I will do that to those people who were encouraging me to do that instead of giving my life story. I think it's quite funny that people are worried that I'm going to say things that I shouldn't. They obviously know stuff that they're very scared about. Anyway, I'm not going to drop anybody in it, guys. I'm really, really not. Well, not intentionally. No, not at all. I will be truly careful and not drop anybody in it. There are some great stories, I have to say, and one day when I'm being interviewed on television, who knows, they might come out then, and it'll be more exciting, won't it? Because millions of people will see them straight away, not have to wait till they find it on YouTube. Oh, what fun I will have. No, I won't. I'm not going to drop anybody in it, I promise. Not from any great height, anyway. Right, I'm going to stop this video now because it's getting boring, I'm sure. And maybe you could comment to say what I was talking about when I went into free fall and didn't remember what I was going to mention. Was it a life hack, or was it was probably an anecdote about my life that hopefully will have an inbuilt lesson, or not analogy, an inbuilt, a lesson, or whatever the word is. Anyway, this is No Worries Ninja Ali, and I'm off to. Well, anyway, I can't remember. We'll see. Bye for now.